Guess who's back? Happy Saturday, everybody. Mark B here, aka Life of Mark on Instagram. Sports Talk with Mark, episode 3. I'm back. I'm live. This is not a recording. I am here in the flesh in the studio. Saturday, 1:30 p.m. Pacific, 4:30 Eastern, coming at you live on the Good News Radio app. How y'all doing today? By the way, because I am live again, we can take call-ins. Phone number is 323-900-0478. Love to chat with y'all. Hit me up on the app. If you got questions, comments, concerns, say something, call me in. Hit me up on the app. Love to get down and talk with y'all. But how y'all doing? It's sunny out here in LA today, finally. It's not gray. It's not gloomy. It's not boring today. I'm finally recovered from my Vegas trip, which, again, just to recap, I was in Vegas, y'all. I was in Vegas for 5 days. It's a long time. Anybody who has been to Vegas, you guys should know good and well that you need no more than 3 days. And when I say 3 days, I mean literally 2 nights, and on that third day, you're leaving. I was there for 5 days, y'all. 5 days, doing some work. I was there to watch the WCC, or the West Coast Conference, for those that don't know. Watching their men's and women's basketball tournament to see who would go to the Big Dance, which will actually, tomorrow's Selection Sunday for that. So anybody that's interested in college basketball, tune in for that. Should be good to see which teams get in. But talking about Vegas for a hot second and just college basketball and watching the sport of it, again, there's a lot of basketball in one venue. So it was a lot of repeating of the same thing. It's cool, but at the same time, you kind of want to throw something else in there just to throw you off your routine a little bit, because it does get slightly mundane. Shout out to the St. Mary's Gales or St. Mary's College men's basketball team for winning the tournament. And for the women, BYU women's basketball, they won the women's side of that. Both of them occurred on Tuesday, so I was there to watch both of those games. And both championship games were actually pretty entertaining. So for the men, it was Gonzaga. So for those that don't know, Gonzaga leading up into that this past weekend was the number 1 team in the country. I don't think their ranking has changed just yet, just because of with Selection Sunday going on and with the other conference tournaments going on this weekend, ACC being one of them. I think the Big East is playing this weekend. Big Ten. Shout out to Michigan. Go Blue. Trying to think who else was playing this weekend. I don't know. But Gonzaga men's basketball, which has 3 potential three potential first-round draft picks in the NBA this year. It was good to see pro-level players playing in this type of conference and this type of game. St. Mary's gave it to them. They allowed only, I think, 46 or 48 points. St. Mary's did their thing. So now, because they won, they're obviously going to the Big Dance because they won the tournament. Gonzaga will be in there. And so it's should be good to see what Gonzaga does if they happen to even get a rematch somewhere down the line in the next week or two. Love to actually see them play against each other again, because that was a really good basketball. And then for the women's side, Gonzaga women's made it. So Gonzaga as a powerhouse for basketball, both men and women. I mean, they did their thing. BYU obviously again took the title from them. That was really good basketball, guys. And I know last week I mentioned, my support for women's basketball, but for those out there that are skeptics and critics of it, I legit say go give it a shot if you want to have a great introduction to it. Go watch some really good college basketball, or even go watch the WNBA. And some of y'all probably will laugh at me for saying that statement. I don't care. Get at me. But if you want to watch, some good ball, hey, do your thing. And what they showcase, again, is very fundamental basketball. So yeah, you're not watching dunks. You're not watching a lot of NBA style magic. But what you're watching is hardcore, hard-nosed basketball, and you want to watch grit. I mean, anybody talks about flopping in the NBA. You want to watch a game without flopping, go watch the women, because they get down, man. The ladies get down. And shout out to also Pepperdine women's basketball, because I do work with the school and the university on a day-to-day basis. It was good to see them go pretty far. They made it to the semifinals. I thought they were going to get to the championship game. It would have been really nice to see them pull that off. Just to watch them bring potentially a conference tournament title back to Malibu, California. Hey, but I think they actually might still make it to the women's championship tournament. So we'll find out Selection Sunday, Selection Monday for the women. We'll see what happens there. But in other news, this past week, NFL trades, free agent signings, it was going down, y'all. It's a lot of noise being made, and there was a lot of things, a lot of moves, a lot of transactions going on that were surprising to some of us, and some of them weren't as surprising. You know what I'm saying? And one of the big things that we had going on, one second here, we had Odell Beckham Jr. go to the Browns. He was traded from the New York Giants to the Browns for a first-round draft pick and a third-round draft pick. We had Antonio Brown to the Raiders. That finally happened. So the Buffalo Bills thing that was supposed to happen last week, it didn't go down the way I thought it was going to go down. But he went to the Raiders, which actually made that more interesting to hear while I was in Vegas that Antonio Brown was going to the Raiders instead of the Buffalo Bills. And as some of you guys do know, for those that don't, the Raiders are moving to Las Vegas next year, actually in 2020. So, and I got to see some of the stadium, being built. Driving past it a couple of times while I was in Vegas. It's supposed to be a pretty nice building. It was large, to say the least. That was cool. And again, AB to the Browns. We'll see how this goes. Now, on the flip side too. So now that Derek Carr, the quarterback of the Raiders, now that he has his number one go-to receiver, number one target now, and with the trade that happened last year, with Amari Cooper going to the Cowboys, you get AB in there, but your number two receiver got cut. Jordy Nelson got cut. And, we actually I think I got a guest outside this door. Y'all got to give me 1 second. This is what happens when black folks is late, y'all. Hold on. Black folks can't ever be somewhere on time. I am in the middle of a show. I am a professional, sir. What's wrong with you?
I just came from an event, man.
Explain yourself. Who are you?
Man, it's Mike Hill, the PG in the building, man. What's up, guys?
Why are you here so late? You interrupted what I got going on. The people want to hear me talk, and now I got to get up and answer the damn door.
Hey.
Bring your key.
We grinding. I know. I forgot the Matter of fact, I don't have the key. Bruce got my key.
How you not got a key?
Bruce got the key, man.
You not, man.
But what's up, Mark? How you doing, man?
I'm good. I was talking about NFL stuff.
Oh, I know you talked about that great team out there in Missouri. That red and white team with that
Chiefs?
That beautiful quarterback that can make any pass.
I have yet to get to them. I only mentioned Odell Beckham to the Browns and AB to the Raiders, and there's a list more I still got to go through.
Okay. How you feel about that Odell to the Browns? Because I think people are kind of gassing them up too early.
I mean, right now they're a great Madden team.
Yeah.
Because they're good on paper. It's like what happens in the NBA, too. When you get a starting five, you go, ooh, they're going to be real hot on 2K.
Yeah.
This is a really hype Madden team.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We'll see if they can put it together. I mean, Baker had a legit rookie year. He didn't win Rookie of the Year, but he had, for what he was dealt with, he did pretty good.
Yeah, I agree.
And he saved a nice part of the season from them going, 2-14? They went, I think 6-10, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, 6-10, 7-9.
Yeah, something like that. So they did better.
Yeah.
After he got in and they took Tyrod Taylor out of there. AB to the race, like I was saying. They cut Jordy Nelson, so now there's no number two receiver. So now you're just back to AB and only Derek Carr. What the hell?
No, they were able to add Tyrell Williams, J.J. Nelson.
Man.
Those are two solid pickups. Yeah, of course, Jordy is a veteran. He's a guy that you will want there.
I like Jordy.
No, yeah.
He can't stay healthy worth a damn anymore, but I like him.
He's getting old, man. That Father Time is undefeated, and he just kind of lost a step. You saw with the Packers. Clearly, if the Packers believe he still had it, he would be in Green Bay, He was one of Aaron Rodgers' favorite targets. But clearly there's something wrong with him, and that's why he's out of there. But I think what the Raiders are doing is a great job, man. I think they're putting together a good offense for those guys, for Derek Carr. It's going to be all on Derek Carr. I still don't know who their running backs are. I don't know if they're bringing back Marshawn.
Marshawn will be there for one more year.
One more. Then you got Doug Martin there. They got to get younger, but that's what the draft is for.
Yeah, and they got a lot of draft picks to do that for the next 3 years. So I think they'll be fine going into Vegas, at least with somewhat of the team that they have now. They should be okay, at least to be entertained to go into Vegas. Oh, we got a call, y'all. What's going on? You on Sports Talk with Mark? What's happening?
What's going on, man? It's Keith Good News.
Hey, boss man, what's happening?
I had to call in because I hear y'all talking the Raiders talk. Now, everybody want to be all hoopla with the Raiders. Stop it. We know who we're dealing with. Stop it. Stop it now.
Hey, I'm not over here giving them like Super Bowl contender, labels yet. All I said was, hey, this is gonna be entertaining to see what they do going from Oakland to Vegas.
Selling tickets in Las Vegas. They paid a big time star coach.
Yeah.
No one's ever done that.
10 years, $100 million. And he's only on year 2.
Ridiculous. No one's ever done that. And he only won one Super Bowl. It's not like he's fucking, like Popovich or somebody. Like, who is this guy? He's not Belichick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but won one Super Bowl and had a bunch of TV shows. So what it's going to be is going to be a movie screening in Las Vegas next year. Everybody's going to lose focus. AB's going to get out of there. He's going to come to the Panthers like he was supposed to.
The Panthers?
And then we'll see the Panthers in the Super Bowl 2021.
You and this Panthers.
Yeah, that Carolina talk kind of lost me there. But I think the Raiders, of course, they aren't going to win a Super Bowl in the next 2 years, but they're building something for them to grow with, because last year was kind of a disappointment. So right now you just want to bring excitement to your fans, because if you don't make the AB trade, you have no excitement for the Raiders. Like, you have no reason to buy tickets.
You're right. And I will say this. I don't think Derek Carr is the quarterback.
Yeah, that's the only thing I was going to get to Mark. I was going to ask him, do you believe in Derek Carr? Because after that one great year he had,
I do.
He has been mediocre.
I do.
Oh, no.
I do believe him. Here's why. Because, first of all, in a league of 32 teams, only 3 to 5 quarterbacks are elite on a year-to-year basis, and they're usually consistent with who that is. Between 5 through 15, you have guys that can get it done in a moderate standpoint. And you also don't need an excellent Super Bowl quarterback to win a championship. You don't need that. I mean, most of the quarterbacks that end up going to the Super Bowl anyway aren't. I mean, a lot of them are repeaters, but that one team that does get in, they're not necessarily,
have an elite quarterback.
They're not always elite. Yeah. So I mean, Joe Flacco won the Super Bowl and he got paid after that. Is he still elite?
Jared Goff isn't elite. You're right about that. Yeah. Jared Goff is not an elite quarterback.
Jared Goff not elite. Tom Brady wasn't elite this year. If we're going to be honest.
All right. Okay.
He wasn't elite this year.
We're not going to do this.
Was he great? Was he good for what he could get the job done this year? Yeah, but was he elite this year?
We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that.
He wasn't elite this year, though.
It's too early, man.
What do you mean?
It's not even 2 p.m. yet. Okay?
I don't care if it's not 2 p.m. yet. I'm telling you right now, Tom Brady was not elite last year.
Okay.
He was good enough to get the job done.
I was going to go back to the comments. Obviously, this is not a conversation for me because I didn't know that it was National Tom Brady Hate Day. So I'm going to go ahead and release
I'm not hating on Brady. Hey, the man got 6 rings.
Keith, before you hang up, just know that I agree with Mark. He was not elite this year. He just had.
Thank you.
He just had. He has the best coach to ever do it, and he had a solid season with a great coach and team around him. Tom Brady was number 7 in passing yards. Okay.
That means only so much.
All
right, he was number 7 in passing yards, and he was number 10 in touchdowns, 29 touchdowns. That's not elite numbers when guys are throwing 50, 39, 35, 34 in front of you.
But that's because Mahomes had an incredible season. Jared Goff they had incredible season that's never been seen before, bro. It was more points scored this NFL season than any NFL season. So you got to understand also that, that plays a factor in the numbers. However, I understand as far as if he's compared to, Patrick Mahomes or some of these young quarterbacks, you're right. But He's so efficient. He reads defenses. Those are things that are not showing up on the stat sheet that still makes a person elite.
No, he's big time. He's very efficient. But I think that
Tom Brady is good enough to get the job done in the way that he knows best in the system that has worked in his favor for the past almost 20 years.
I agree. Because that coach, man, people sleep on that coach. That dude,
Nobody
Bill Belichick.
sleeps on Belichick. Nobody should sleep on Belichick.
Nobody sleeps on Belichick.
I think they do when you try to place everyone says, "Oh, Tom Brady is the greatest." Like he's always had something to work with, you know. Like Peyton Manning had years where Peyton Manning was the whole team. His defense was terrible. It was like either you have to go and win games or we're not going to win. And he was finding ways to win 12, 13 games consistently.
Yes, he was the offensive coordinator for the Colts when he was doing his thing. But for the case of
essentially, but still, you know, I can never talk down about Tom Brady. I would never talk down about Kobe Bryant. I don't care what the conversation is. I hold them to a higher standard. They'll always be, as long as they're on the field, as long as Tom Brady's on that field, he's going to be the best quarterback out there. I really feel that.
Yes. Is he the best quarterback ever to play the game? In my opinion, yeah. Did he have a great year last year? No. He happened to win the Super Bowl, though.
Okay. All right. Well, he still has that sixth ring at the end of the day.
And I'm not knocking him for it. He got 6.
He was 12th. He was 12th in passer rating. Out of 30 quarterbacks, he was number 12, so he's almost middle of the pack, dog.
Everybody was balling, bro. Like, bro, come on, Mahomes was balling. Man, Thielen had an incredible season out of nowhere. So, anyways, man, I'm gonna get out of here, man. I'm gonna keep listening.
All right, for sure, man. We appreciate it.
All right, man.
Yeah.
All right.
This guy always got to call in and chime in.
Yeah,
it's all good.
He does that to us, of course. So
I get it.
Get ready for it.
Yeah, he good. But anyway, in other NFL news, other trades and free agent signings that went down, just briefly going over them. Things that stick out, I'll stop and talk about. Le'Veon Bell to the Jets. That's cool. We'll see what the Jets do. I mean, they don't have a complete team around them. They got the running back that they wanted. They got the running back that they needed. They have Sam Darnold, who has some promise, I think, going into next year and the year after. We'll see how the Jets continue to develop that squad. Ryan Tannehill, former starter quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, got traded to the Tennessee Titans to become Marcus Mariota's backup. I think I shouldn't say Tannehill threw in the towel. Well, maybe he did, because I think he understands where he is as far as from a production value in the game. He's not a starter anymore. And I think Miami knew that too. And they're also in this rebuilding mode. So for them to even trot him out there next year and he win games for them, potentially if he doesn't get hurt, it doesn't necessarily go in their favor. So why not get rid of him when you can? Tennessee gets a good backup, in my opinion, just to at least have somebody who's been a capable NFL starter in the past. Tannehill also couldn't get over the playoff hump in Miami. Therefore, go be a backup. Do you think in Tennessee, get paid a lot of money to wear a baseball cap and with a stand with a clipboard? My man's got it easy. Nick Foles, Super Bowl winning quarterback of the Eagles. He was also their backup. Is now the starter for the Jacksonville Jaguars. This should be funny. I don't like Nick Foles. A lot of people will probably hate me. Philly will probably hate me. I don't care. Nick Foles is Eli Manning without being named Eli Manning. He's overrated.
Hey, believe me.
And I've had that opinion for 2 years now.
Hey, believe me, he was a Chief for a short period. He was backing up Alex Smith.
He's played on almost every team except the Lions
and
the Browns.
Hey, it just shows you that if you have a few good games. You remember that Matt Flynn deal?
I vividly remember Matt Flynn because I remember how Matt Flynn got paid. He threw up 500 yards against the Lions last game of the season.
Yes.
And then still didn't get to start when he got picked up by Seattle because Russell Wilson came in and beat him out.
And it just shows you that these teams sometimes get caught up in these moments for players. And what Nick Foles did was big time, but can't underestimate the team around him that made it much easier, for him to do what he was doing.
Less about even it just being easy or hard. It's just the team that he had around him was capable enough to get the job done no matter who was playing the quarterback position. Now, as a quarterback too, you still have to get the ball out and, read your defense and, pick your spots. Be able to also see certain things and make the necessary audibles from the line.
Yeah.
Granted. But at the same time, we put so much value in that one position, obviously because they have the ball a lot. but it's what they do with the ball and everything. After that, you have to give credit or lack of to those around them. From an offensive line standpoint, to the receivers, to the running back. And also, if a defense discombobulates mid-play, you got to at least respect the fact that, hey, the defense didn't get their job done either. Because if they're doing their job, you don't get the ball down the field.
Yeah, true. But
that's just my opinion, though.
With Jacksonville, I don't know who Nick Foles has to really work with. You have Fournette, who's really injury prone.
And Fournette still might be out of there by training camp.
Maybe by training camp. And can you name one of their top receivers? Other than, I know Marquise Lee, but he's always hurt. Who else can you name?
They all get hurt. And I think Allen Robinson left.
Yeah, he's not there. He's with Chicago.
Right. He went to Chicago.
Yeah. Alan Hearns is with Dallas.
Again, they all hurt or gone.
Hey, Mark, can you run some routes? We might be able to go make that squad.
I am not playing the game of football ever again. I did my time. I'm not doing it
That's
again.
it for you?
I'm done.
Hey, Jacksonville.
It hurts.
Jacksonville, if you need some help, let me know. I'm willing to come try out because I have no idea who Nick Foles is going to be throwing the ball to. Like, it is insane. Like, they better draft DK Metcalf because they need something.
No.
No?
No.
Man, that's Superman.
He ain't Superman. I've seen Superman. His name was Calvin Johnson for the Lions.
Oh, I agree.
That was a special human being.
I agree.
That was great. And on one of these episodes, I'll tell y'all
the story. Maybe Jacksonville needs to call Calvin Johnson.
No, he ain't coming out of retirement either. He too smart to play football again.
No, I understand it.
And then just wrapping up a couple things from the NFL standpoint. So even including back to Jacksonville, their starter last year, Blake Bortles, was released, thus them bringing in Nick Foles. So Blake Bortles is out there as a free agent. Who picks him up? I don't know. Will he start somewhere? I doubt it. Rumor had it, at least as of yesterday, that the Rams were interested in signing him. Rams, don't do it. Don't. Just please, don't do it. Don't.
Hey,
don't do it.
Look out for the Pats. The Pats, they like to get young quarterbacks that they think they can fix and put them in a good system.
I don't think he's fixable. I think if anything, they draft a young quarterback and just make him sit behind Brady, then ship him out. But you don't go.
Blake had some moments. He had some moments of.
He had 3 games.
3 games.
He had 3 games because he was on my fantasy team. He balled out for the first 3 weeks, and then after that, it was a complete dumpster fire.
Hey, the question is, why did you draft Blake Bortles and start him? That's crazy.
Actually, I didn't start him,
but
I saw the numbers that he put up on my bench.
I was about to say, wait a minute, you had Bortles as your starter?
No, not at all. I'm not that stupid.
Hey, thank God.
He's the bye week backup.
That's a tough job for him.
And last but not least, shout out to the Baltimore Ravens for getting Mark Ingram from the New Orleans Saints, running back, and safety Earl Thomas from Seattle. That was hot.
Yeah, the crazy part is I saw an interview with Earl Thomas, and Earl Thomas talked about how he thought he was going to be a Chief. He thought they were going to settle for a 1 or 2 year deal, but he said then his agent gave him a call and said, hey, Baltimore is offering us this deal. I think we should take it. And then,
I mean, if it were me, I'd rather go to the team with a much more reputable defense.
Hey, he's trying to get going to the defense, and he's trying to get his money. So go get your money.
Go get your money and go play somewhere where you're going to shine.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise, you playing on your Chiefs. I mean, no disrespect, but their defense sucks.
Yeah, but you can't get any worse than 30 seconds, so I see an improvement.
Or you can say 30 seconds for another year in a row. If you don't climb up, that means you right back where you at.
Flatline.
You just flatline.
Hey, that's true. I hope not, but yeah, I saw that earlier, and I was like, oh, that's interesting that Chiefs nearly traded for him earlier in the year before he got hurt for a 2nd round pick, and then he was like, man, I'm gonna just bet on myself, take this 1 or 2 year deal with Kansas City. Then he got a call from his agent saying, hey, let's go get this money. Baltimore offering us this, and that's when he became a Raven.
Yeah, with all of the stuff that's happened this week, from NFL free agent trading standpoint, in my lifetime, this has probably been the most exciting year that the NFL free agent signing period has had. I mean, years past has been, pretty dull, mundane, pretty bland. Yeah, I'm using my last name as a joke. Shut up. But, I mean, it was just fun. Like, again, and we had big names moving teams. It wasn't just, your second stringers moving. occasional starter somewhere on a lower end team going to a potential championship contender as to be that missing piece or whatever the case would be. I mean, we had superstars getting traded.
Yeah, big time.
Two of the top 3 wide receivers got traded.
The Madden cover guy was traded.
Yes,
You know, so,
I don't think it gets much more exciting than that from a football standpoint in comparison to the NBA, where every summer comes July 1st or July 4th, whatever the case may be, it's always something going down. Especially with the way their contracts are set up, where guys can move around willy nilly as much as they want to and go from one team on one coast to the other coast, and also bring their friends and buddies and cousins and mamas and daddies with them. This year was pretty hot for the NFL, and I think from a staying relevant standpoint that the NFL likes to do and it set itself up to be that way as a year-round sport that's always in the news, I think this year they did a good job with that. Let's see what happens with the draft, and that's always going to be its own event. But let's see what else happens here in the next couple weeks and couple months down the line as we get into training camp come July, and that's still some time and ways away. The draft is the next big event coming up here. So
hey, and I think that with this offseason, I think the NFL is going to love it. And, with AB and the players trying to get more control like the NBA, I think you're going to start seeing a more explosive free agency for the NFL because they see how big, it is. And it gives you something even more other than the combine and workouts and the draft to look forward to. It's like, hey, if we make free agency popping, that now we got another thing that people can be talking about as more than, the NBA at the time or NHL, MLB.
Shout out to NHL. Matter of fact, since you mentioned the NHL, how much you know about hockey, man?
Not much, man. I know Sidney Crosby, Ovechkin.
So you know the 2 biggest players.
Yeah, if I watch it, I can see what's going on, but some of the stuff I truly don't understand.
You ever been to a game?
No, I'm an LA dude, man. We ain't going.
You got the Kings.
I know, but we ain't getting close to no ice.
Why?
Because we rather go watch the Lakers. Rather go watch the Dodgers. Hold
on. When you say we, do you mean we as in black folks we, or me, or we as in LA people in general we? Because there is a point to that if you mention one thing or the other.
No, because I have buddies that are big time hockey fans, so they go and they watch. They watch hockey. I'm talking about, I'll say the black folks from LA.
Okay, why is that? Let's talk about that.
It's because,
and that's a great segue into what I want to talk about today.
No, it's because, man, we just never had any interest in it. A lot of stuff that we go and watch is because we are truly fans of it, and it's something that we do. So a lot of, black folk in LA play basketball, so we want to watch basketball. We play football, so we're excited football's here because we can go watch it. Baseball, we may even play baseball, so we want to go watch baseball. But hockey is like something that we can't touch.
Why do you feel like you can't touch it?
Because to be honest, I couldn't really tell you where I can go and play. Okay. If my high school doesn't have it, I can't tell you. Like, I can find any park league for basketball, baseball, football as a kid. Yeah. But for hockey, like, your parent will really have to go and look for, okay, where's a hockey rink where there's ice rink where there's hockey at. But you don't really have, like, Detroit is a bigger thing, of course.
Well, to your point, as far as the access to it, I mean, even in Detroit growing up for me, I wanted to play the game. I begged my mother to let me play. I had a hockey net and a hockey stick, and that was about as good as it got, and some rollerblades. And I taught myself how to ice skate, too. Shout out to my mom for that. Actually, no. Shout out to my grandma, Georgia, because she got me the skates. Shout out to my papa, Francis. What up? I know you're listening. He took me ice skating for the first time. That was great. Love you guys. Thanks for at least introducing me to it. But to your point, though, the access to it was always in the suburbs for us.
Yeah.
It wasn't an inner city thing. It was something that if you wanted to go do it, you had to go make a way. And also you needed to have the money to make a way for it because it's an expensive sport.
Yeah. All the padding and everything.
Padding, ice time, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And I guess before I go into these 2 articles real quick that I looked up for y'all, and something I even mentioned last week on the show that I will bring up this week, just in my personal experience. So before I moved to LA, I worked for 2 hockey teams. So I worked first in San Diego for the San Diego Gulls Hockey Club, which is the AHL, so American Hockey League, affiliate of the Anaheim Ducks. What does that mean? If all you basketball heads that know the G League, this is the G League of hockey. But they get down, and there's a lot of people that come out and watch it because there's a higher rate of players going from one league into the other. And so for some fans, it's a way to see future NHL stars for the low.
Yeah.
We just be quite honest with you. And then I did that for a year. Next year, I moved up to Ontario, California, not Canada. Worked for the Ontario Reign, which is the AHL affiliate of the Los Angeles Kings. If y'all are in the studio with me, I got my LA Kings jersey on. It's kind of hot as hell in here.
Man, I can't understand it. It's burning up, man.
But you know what, though? This thing is like, it's great. I love it. And because I'm talking about hockey, I at least had to wear one of my jerseys.
That's one of my favorite hats, though. The LA Kings throwback hat.
Oh, the purple and gold one?
No, the you know where they have the big print, like the big
yeah,
print?
Yeah. I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, that one's
that
fine.
is iconic. That's very iconic.
Yes, NWA.
NWA was wearing it. Yeah.
NWA cap. So that's one of my favorite caps, man.
Yeah. So just again going back into my experience in the sport from a working standpoint, one of the big things that I cared about when I was working in hockey was, why aren't fans in the stands that look like me here? Why aren't kids that look like me playing the game or mentioning it? So one of the big initiatives I wanted to really work on when I had the time to do it was the community relations and touching the people standpoint from a let's get the sport out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's a great sport.
I have a question.
Yeah.
With you working for the two affiliates,
Mm-hmm.
how many other black people were working with you? Were you
working
like
with me?
Yeah, that were there that you were able to see.
So, to be quite honest, no, wait. In San Diego, I was the only one. In Ontario, I was one of three.
One of three?
And I was the only male.
No,
I take that back. No. It's four. It was four of us. So it was me, another guy, and then there were two women.
Okay. And where do you think that love for hockey come from? You think that come from you being from Detroit and it being such a – because out there in Detroit –
Well, so the culture of Detroit and the Red Wings, that was a big influence.
Yeah.
But for me, and which I tell people all the time, is I was lucky enough to be born when the Mighty Ducks movies were out. And one of the big things that doesn't register with everybody is that in those movies, there was always at least one black kid.
Yeah.
That was playing
I
it.
used to love those movies.
So to have just that representation in the movie, which was very subliminal, just to say, hey, there's somebody that looks like me playing the game.
Yeah.
So if I can watch that in an entertainment standpoint and go, hey, they doing their thing. Why can't I do it too?
Yeah, I feel it.
And in the second movie, more specifically, they took the national team and they brought them to the hood in L.A.
Yeah,
and they played street hockey against an all-black team.
Yeah, I remember
and got
that.
their asses beat.
Yeah.
And when they went back to the ice, they played Trinidad and Tobago, which was an all-black team.
Mm-hmm.
So there was more representation of color in the movie. And I think I haven't seen that much representation of black people in the sport of hockey in my real life.
Yeah, ever. I can't even tell you stories about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also, unfortunately, the racism component from fans that some people go, I don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
Which you talked about on your show, Courtside Radio, every Thursday night, 6:30 p.m. Pacific,
yes,
9:30 Eastern. Check them out on Good News Radio. Mike Hill, the point guard, in here on Sports Talk with Mark. But to one of the topics that we talked about, because I was a guest on your show this Thursday, was Russell Westbrook had the incident in Utah.
Yeah.
And that's the NBA.
Yeah.
Majority of the players are already black.
75% or more
dealing with
black.
a fan base in the population that ain't necessarily all the way black.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I think a lot of blacks shy away from hockey, because it's like,
because we don't feel accepted.
Yeah, you don't feel accepted. Even in 2019, you would still feel like you're close to a Jackie Robinson in the sport. I know you have some guys that are there, but even those guys, I don't know their backgrounds, but I don't think they're from like South Central or.
And a lot of them aren't. A lot of them are actually African Canadian.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. So in Canada, with that being the national sport.
Yeah.
There's more of a, I guess, natural attraction to it.
Yeah, because if you're from the Bronx or, you're from Houston, Texas. You're not like, hey man, I'm trying to be a hockey star. That's not something that no one's talking to you about it.
Yeah.
Your friends aren't talking about it. So if you were to be doing that, like, you're an outlier, and it's like you be maybe looked at like, bro, why are you playing hockey? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a lot of times you do stuff, especially when you're younger, because you want to fit in and do what everybody else is doing. So if everybody on the court hooping, you there hooping. Everybody on the field playing football, you there. So
Yeah.
that's why you don't see a lot of real like bros playing hockey. You know what I'm talking about?
But I think that needs to change. It really does, because one, we're very capable of doing it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that goes for any race and culture and ethnicity out there. If you want to play the game, go play the game. And actually, in fact, the NHL has been making a bigger push with their Hockey is for Everyone campaign to give more access to inner city youth or kids that just never thought about the game. It's much more inviting now, and that's something I've seen firsthand. And if I can ever promote that program, promote that campaign, promote that platform, whatever platform it is that I'm on, I'm definitely going to push it, because, again, it's something I think for me, in being the different person that I am, it's something cool and new to push.
Yeah.
We've dominated basketball long enough. We've dominated football long enough. We need to get back into baseball, son.
Yeah.
Let's go play a new sport.
Yeah.
And I think the ability for the NHL to create free programs through their local clubs, and there's 30 teams in the National Hockey League, for them to have their teams get in on it and create free programs and try it for free clinics, which is something I've done myself in Anaheim. And I encourage anybody out there to find a free clinic and just, at bare minimum, learn how to ice skate, especially if you live somewhere where it snows.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Go do it, because it's fun, and you actually, and for the people that are trying to challenge themselves from an exercise physical standpoint, it'll challenge you. So it's doing something new.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's a lot of other reasons I get into why people should at least try it.
Maybe that's the issue. Maybe
we just got to try it.
Yeah, a lot of black folks just don't want to do anything new.
And we need to know that there's ways for us to try something new.
Yeah.
And it needs to be encouraged instead of frowned upon. And instead of having the mindset of black people don't do this, it should say, go do it, because I haven't seen a black person do it. Maybe if you do it, you'll encourage me to do it. Or matter of fact, let's do it together.
Yeah.
And now, instead of it being you're different from us, you ain't black, it's, you just doing something different. That's cool. Why don't the rest of us go do it?
Yeah, true.
And I think if that perception were to change and we talk to each other like that, that can push the narrative and a lot of other things outside of just sports and hockey and everything like that. But one of the two articles that I had, just to briefly go over with you guys. So Kim Davis, she's new NHL exec for the league. She is now the vice president of social impact, growth initiatives, and legislative affairs. The work that she's been doing, she has a mobile museum tour that's going around the country. And one of the things that it highlights in doing it in conjunction with American Legacy magazine, but one of the biggest things that the mobile museum touches on is actually the CHL. And what the CHL is the Colored Hockey League that was established in 1895, color being spelled COLOURED. Obviously, it's Canadian. But that's a part of black history that we don't even know about. There was a hockey league dedicated to us.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't even know. A lot of people know the Negro Baseball League.
Yeah.
That was also an American thing.
Mm-hmm.
But just to have a league of black players, whether it's America, Canada, is North America, to say the least.
Yeah.
To know that was there and we don't know about it, there's a lot of history that we still don't even know about ourselves. And so for the people that go, black people don't do this, yes, we do. You just don't know it.
Yeah.
And so
we did.
Or we did.
Yeah.
And we still do, but it's still not talked about. And
yeah.
It's not shared. There's a sidebar. There's a family motto that my family goes by. It's called LAST. Learn, apply, share. When you learn something, you apply the information that you learn, and after you apply, you share it with somebody else, because there's no point in being selfish with all the stuff that you just obtained.
True.
So there's a lot of not sharing that we're doing. There's a lack of sharing. We're learning some things, and some things we are willingly not learning. We're not always applying everything we learn either, but then when we do, the greediness that happens in people prevents us from sharing it, which is more of a detriment than it is a enhancement to our own selves, because I think as a human being, you feel good when you share something, don't you?
Yeah, you feel good because it's like I know something that you don't, so I can spread it to you. So it's a good feeling, you know.
And at bare minimum, somebody with the information I just shared can go do something great in their own right.
Yeah.
I want to see people do great.
Yeah,
Why don't you?
I coach high school basketball, and I always tell my guys, like, man, y'all don't know how great I would feel if you go D1 and I could be like, I coach you. You know what I'm saying? You can use what I'm teaching you to, share to the world that, hey, look what type of game I got, and these are the coaches that helped me get there. Like that's something you're happy about. So I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, for sure. And by the way, guys, the article that I am talking of was by Jerry Bembry of ESPN's The Undefeated. So guys, go check that out. The article was published March 6, 2019.
Hey, that's big time. We got to make sure we get that out more because, like you said, I feel I'm a pretty a sports historian. I know a lot about the sports game. I never knew that there was an all-black hockey league, so I just learned something new,
And that's just a little bit of information that you learn. Now you can probably go tell your boys at the high school and be like, hey, by the way, this happened.
Yeah, it's an all-black hockey league.
Right. And somebody may go take down, go jump on their iPhone, whatever, or Samsung and learn more about it. You never know.
Yeah, learn more about hockey, period.
Yeah. And then the other things that the article talked about were just the number of players that are currently in the game. It's something in the 20s out of approximately 700 players, which is horrible.
Yeah.
And I mean, because I've been involved with the sport for the last 2 years now, 3 from a non-official standpoint. There's the big superstars like PK Subban of the Nashville Predators.
That's 2% of the league, dog.
2%.
But
man,
that's insane.
And you got Wayne Simmons out there. He got traded from the Philadelphia Flyers to Nashville. You got Malcolm Subban, so PK's brother. He's a goalie for the Vegas Golden Knights. He's a backup goalie. Oh, there's wait. Who's my man's from DC? Guy from DC that's out there. It's like 1 or 2 for the San Jose Sharks. I mean, there's some out there, and obviously I've done the research to know who they are.
Yeah.
And they become prominent figures who I've paid attention to. But again, they're there. You guys go find them. And I give you guys resources. Hit me up in my DMs. Hit me up on Instagram, whatever. I can point you in the right directions for those that are interested. And then again, go check out the article. It also drops a little bit of history for you. Willie O'Ree, the first black player to enter into the NHL, who somebody I've actually got a chance to meet in person. He currently lives in the Southern California area. And for me personally, to meet the quote-unquote Jackie Robinson of hockey, which he is. I mean, first of all, a lot of historical figures that come to us through our textbooks in school, through memes and stuff on social media now. Most of those figures aren't even alive anymore. So it was definitely an honor and a privilege to have multiple conversations with a living legend. Somebody that also didn't even come through, to my knowledge, from a textbook. And I loved to study sports whenever I could in the middle of school. And I still didn't hear of him until I became a full-grown adult. For anybody out there, if you get to meet living legends, sports figures or not, take advantage of the opportunity and time you have with them, because you never know when they're leaving us. And because living legends are so rare, man.
Yeah.
Like,
if you can meet one,
you can meet one, at least one, do it. And if you have to take the picture to prove that you did it, do it. Be polite and respectful about it. But man,
hey Mark,
like, what's up?
It's crazy. I pulled up a list of this website is called blackthen.com.
Yep.
This article is June 28, 2018.
Who's the author of it?
Robert Williams.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out Robert Williams. 10 greatest black hockey players of all time.
Let's get it.
I know none of these names.
Just start reading them off.
You got Grant Furr.
Oh, yeah, I know who that is.
He has him as number 1. Jerome Ingela.
Okay.
You have Mike Greer.
Okay.
Most of these dudes are born 70s, 60s. Someone born in 89. PK Subban.
Subban, yeah.
Subban.
Yeah, that's the one for Nashville currently.
Okay. Someone.
He has a great social media profile, by the way, y'all. Like, he's actually entertaining. Go check him out.
No, he's Canadian. See, a lot of them are Canadians.
Yeah.
Dustin, this name is crazy. He's born in 85. By Fuglin.
Okay.
Wayne Simmons.
I know who Wayne is.
I heard that name. Anson Carter.
Okay.
Evander Kane.
Yes, that's who. That's he plays for San Jose right now.
Plays for San Jose.
Yeah.
All right. George Larocque.
Okay. That's probably the way to pronounce it too.
Yeah, and Ray Emery.
All right.
Yeah, so blackden.com. You know, you can go on there and or just type in Google top 10 greatest black hockey players of all time, and there's a list of them, and they say a little bit about them, but most of them I can see are from Canada, you know.
Yeah, and again, that's a bigger thing in Canada, which I totally understand, I totally get. But even in America, majority of the teams that are in the NHL are in the United States.
Yeah.
Majority of them. So out of 30, so all the Canadian teams, we do the math on this. You got the Vancouver Canucks, Edmonton Oilers, you got the Winnipeg Jets, Toronto Maple Leafs, Calgary Flames, Montreal Canadiens. So out of 30, 6 of them are in Canada.
Yeah. So I just think there has to be more of an outreach to the inner city as far as them getting more Hispanic black players to do it, because if you don't know, you don't try, you know. And the popularity of these other sports are far ahead, but it would be good for the NHL to try to reach out to these like middle schools, high schools, just to let these kids know, hey, if you can't make it in football, basketball, and even baseball, it's like there's still hockey out there. Like, give it a shot. Like, your athleticism might be meant for hockey, and you just never knew it.
You never knew it.
You know? And like I tell the kids.
Or there's another, or if you want to get college paid for through athletics.
Yeah.
There are some schools that will pay you to play hockey
to
for
play
them.
hockey, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because at least in watching, especially watching the minor league level and watching guys get drafted and go sit and get sent straight there.
Yeah.
A lot of guys that come from the collegiate system, so NCAA and there's a couple other leagues that does collegiate hockey. I mean, most of those guys are staying in college long enough to get their degree.
Mm-hmm.
So if education is the most important thing to you, which I encourage, there's one sport that pretty much allows you to go get your degree while playing a really dope sport.
Yeah, that's hockey.
Yeah. You might get a couple concussions in the process, but I'm not here to talk negative.
Yeah.
I can do that about football.
Yeah. Hey, hockey, if people don't understand, hockey is a tough, man, sport.
Hockey is hard.
And the reason why, this is what I tell kids, for the listeners, I teach at Lusinger High School. I tell the kids, if you want to fight, go get paid for it. So if you don't want to box, I was like, go do hockey, because they let you fight. So you can go get you a little brawl in.
They even toning that down the last couple of years. They're really toning that down.
Because they see what's happening with NFL, so they like the concussion thing. So they want to be safe. You know what I'm saying? So I understand it. But, no, I really, man, that's pretty dope. I really think, man, I wish we can do something, Mark, as far as have some type of outreach where we can go to different black communities and just
we can talk about some things. I know some people.
Yeah, preach hockey to them, because like you said, it's something different, and at least you can have that on your resume. Hey, I played 2 years of hockey, you know. Like I tell kids all the time, like, yeah, basketball was my thing, but I did play Pop Warner football. You know, I did play baseball for like 3 years. So, you know, I was able to that's 3 sports that I was a part of. I played soccer on the low at school. Yeah. So it was like I was able to do that, but I could never say I play hockey. So that's something you can add on your resume. Hey, I played 2 years of hockey, 2 or 3 years of hockey, and it's like, oh, man, that's dope.
Yeah, right. I mean, and again, and now we'll wrap it up here in a second. Other quick tidbit. So, other article, love you guys to read about. The title of it is called Black Women's Love of Hockey Evolves into a Fan Club. It's by Emily Kaplan, also of ESPN's Undefeated. Article was published February 27th of this year. The article briefly, it just talks about a lot of women in the country. I think it's like a group of 40 women from all over the United States, and they meet up at different hockey games just to catch different games in different arenas, possibly even meet different players. So it's really cool just to see black women say, hey, we love the sport. We don't know too many others like us that love the sport. Let's go find them, and let's find a way to meet up and get together and just have really good camaraderie, really good sisterhood. Talk about, the game, talk about life, and enjoy a sport that, everybody ain't talking about. And I think that's really cool, and I think that's something in all sports. If you like it enough, go watch it. And I love watching the game, from the comfort of my couch sometimes. We get to a game, go experience it for yourself. You don't know what it's like to be there. And for hockey games, I always say there's a party going on and there happens to be a game in the middle.
Yeah.
Because just the feeling, the vibe, the energy, the enthusiasm that's in the building, whether the team sucks or not. I mean, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I hate I didn't make it to a game with the Kings winning. I'm pretty sure that would have been dope. I'm gonna have to do one. Maybe we'll go to one, Mark.
Come on, man. I'll take you
one.
Yeah,
maybe we'll go to one I
was at one a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
2 of them within the last 4 to 5 weeks. So.
Cause one of my favorite things in sports, no lie, is the Winter Classic. How they play out there in the snow and all that.
I ain't doing it. I'm not doing that.
I think that's so dope, man. Just to see them out there playing, and it's something different.
Yeah.
So that's why I love the fact that they did that, because those games I actually sit back and be like, hey, let me check this out, because it's a different element. It's like they're out here on this football field. They have the snow. It's snow going on, and they're still playing. Like I think the Winter Classic is so dope to me.
Yeah, the Winter Classic, again, it's one of those things where people ignore, and when I say people, I mean folks that aren't white. We ignore it.
Yeah.
Because, who wants to watch people play hockey in the snow? I already don't like the snow, so I'm going to go watch the snow.
Yeah.
And they turn 10 and go watch football in the snow.
And it's crazy that one of the biggest sports moments is talked about a lot, but a lot of people just look over it.
You talking about Miracle on Ice?
Yeah, Miracle on Ice. That's just because a lot of fans are just like, what the hell? I don't give a damn about soccer.
Right, and a lot of people didn't watch
hockey.
it either.
Yeah.
A lot of folks didn't watch it, and the ones that did, they covered that moment. And they still talk about where they were when they were a kid or whatever the case may be, however old they were when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they were watching it or listening to it, like they remember that moment.
Yeah.
As vividly as most brothers I know remember where they were when they watched Jordan beat the Jazz in '98.
Oh, the push-off game?
Yeah, the push-off.
Yeah.
The push-off.
Yeah. The push-off game, man.
Man, push-off game was great.
No, that was an amazing game, man. Jordan closed that out perfectly, man. But, no, I think that, man, when it comes to black folks, Hispanic folks, that just has to be more outreach to these communities for us to really become fans of it. And, the popularity of it. To be honest, we just need that figure that look like us, that really come from us, to star in it. Then that'll make more people, want to do it. Because that's what if it's popular, people want to do it. So that's what it's all about.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so once again, guys, go to ESPN's Undefeated. Check out the articles by Jerry Embry as well as Emily Kaplan. They're still up and still live on the website. Check them out. Check out the sport. The season's not over yet. If you can make it to a game for cheap, I say give it a crack. Why not? Can be pretty entertaining for you. But last thing before we wrap the show up, so I asked you guys to send me questions for my Instagram AMAs or my sports AMAs. For those of y'all that don't know, AMA stand for Ask Me Anything. All right? That's what it means. So I had a couple questions here. Michael, feel free to jump in on some of these questions. We actually got quite a few here.
All right.
Let's cue the music and let's make this thing happen. But, yeah, you like that?
Yeah.
All right. Slick Rick.
Slick Rick the ruler.
That's right. But, yeah, so first question. Actually, we're going to start this one pretty light. Shout out to little man Jamar. I know exactly where he at, what he doing. Shout out to you, your siblings, and your mama down there in Atlanta. He asked, was LeBron better on the Lakers or the Cavs? Michael, the point guard.
Not even a question. On the Cavs, man. His heart was fully in it. Last year, he gave everything he had to just make it to the finals. Yeah. And he was playing with some bums. Like, he was playing with some bums, and he gave everything he had because, he bleeds and bleeds Cleveland.
Yeah.
So this year he kind of just like, I'm in LA. We couldn't get AD. I'm chilling.
Yeah, my response, obviously it is the Cavs. Also, this is still not even the end of year one with the Lakers, and this is also the most amount of time he's been hurt
Yep.
in his career. As far
18
as
games.
missing games, and not because he wanted to sit out. So, yes, it's obviously the Cavs. But the one caveat I throw in there, and I think you would agree with this, his best years as a player overall were in Miami.
Yeah, Miami. Yeah, that's when he was at his. That's when he was at his best. He had a lot of talent around him, so he didn't really have to lead too much. Just come out here and hoop, and that's when he looked his best.
Yeah. All right. Question number 2 comes from my homegirl CT back in Detroit. Shout out to Melanin on the Go on Instagram. Y'all go check her out. It's actually a really good travel blog. She asked, how can opposite sexes connect over sports if one of them doesn't like sports? And I'm going to laugh because I know this question is solely about her. She don't like sports at all.
Yeah, that's
But,
funny.
and I've had this, I mean, I guess in my dating life, I'll say this. I've dated women at times that could care two craps about sports. But sometimes they learn, or at least they learn to put up with it because of me.
Yeah.
Which, what's your response?
My response is most women I've dated really weren't sports fans, but because they have interest in me, they try to find interest in the sport. And it's kind of like guys when we may watch a certain show or a movie with the woman, and we don't really care too much about it, but because we see that our mate, our girl likes it, we gonna like, all right, let me get into it enough, because maybe you'll never become a huge sports fan, but you can learn enough to know what a travel is, know what offsides are. Ooh, that's a good catch. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. So it's just, if you have interest in the person who likes sports or a certain sport, just give a little time to it, and it'll become interesting enough to you.
I think in addition to that, you have to take who that person is and find out what makes them tick and show how that appears in sports.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, broad example, whether you're a woman or guy, if somebody likes fashion, all right, well, now you can have the discussion of the uniform designs.
Yeah, true.
You know, like, I could take this LA Kings jersey I got and we can dissect it bit by bit.
Yeah.
And then you can go from a design, a color scheme. How does this fit? Does that work? You know, you can find things you can find the best of them in the game of sport. And if you can make that connection, I think that's how you find that relatability.
Yeah, and the fashion is a great way to do it.
Fashion is a part. If it's music, I mean, take them to a baseball game. Every player has a walk-up song.
Yeah, true.
So, if anything, just be prepared for the next song.
Yeah.
Do you like this song? Does this song fit? What would you do? That's something me and my family do, actually. We do like 3 times a year with baseball. It's, hey, opening day, I'm going to do the group text in a little bit, but it's, walk-up music for opening day. What you picking? Not top 2 songs. And you use it from now until June, then we do it again.
That's dope.
And, end of the season, if you make it to playoffs, what's your song? If you're not making playoffs, what's your song? Like, we do stuff like that. So it's little ways to just, again, find things outside of the X's and O's, because if they don't want to understand it, then they're not.
Yeah.
They're obviously not going to.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our response to that one. Let's do 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, you can do 1 or 2 more. It's fun.
All right, this one, I'm gonna dedicate this one to you, and I'm not answering this one.
All right.
Who's the best Chiefs player of all time? This is from my homegirl Sammy Says So on Instagram. What up?
The best Chiefs player of all time?
Yes.
For me, it goes 2 ways. It goes Lynn Dawson, just because he was the greatest quarterback, which I think is the greatest position in football. But for me, it's Derrick Thomas. I think Derrick Thomas was Von Miller before his time,
Yeah.
And he was just amazing. And, it sucks that his life ended early in a car accident.
Yeah.
But that guy was amazing. And he was like, at his first step was incredible. And guys just couldn't figure it out. I remember being younger and seeing a game where he had, I believe, 6 sacks against the Raiders. And that would be the guy I would say the best player ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And
DT was the truth. Mahomes has a chance.
Mahomes has a chance.
Yeah, if Mahomes can get them a Super Bowl or 2, I think Mahomes will go down, because Chiefs, other than Lynn Dawson, the Chiefs hasn't really had a guy that you can really say like this guy was a top 5, top 3 quarterback in the league. Like Trent Green put up great numbers, but he was never looked at. Oh, he's top 5 quarterback. This guy has a chance to be at the end of this season coming up. He has a chance to be the best football player in the world, and he can maintain the top 10 level for the next 10, 15 years, and then win for Kansas City. Oh, he will be number 1. But I would take Derek Thomas 1, Len Dawson 2, Tony Gonzalez 3.
All right. Just to throw mine in there, I am a sucker for running back, so mine is Priest Holmes.
Priest is a beast. He's top 5 for sure. He's top 5 for sure.
100% Priest Holmes.
Yeah. I used to create. I would play college NCAA football, and my player would be number 31.
Shout out.
Yeah, 31 for Priest Holmes, man.
And then, let's see. Let's do. All right, wait.
Pick a good one, man. I'm ready.
Pick a good one?
Yeah, pick a good one.
All right. Here's another one. This goes into basketball. Who's your pick to win the NCAA tournament?
My pick to win the NCAA.
Mind you, though, Selection Sunday has not happened yet.
No, yeah.
But based on who we pretty much kind of got an idea who going, who you think gonna win it? I know who my answer is already.
So my championship game, I have Duke, Tennessee, and I got
really,
yeah.
Why?
Because I just think Tennessee has a lot of athletes. Rick Barnes is coaching that team up.
I can see how Tennessee makes it, but how the hell you think Duke gonna make it?
It's because, man, they're starting to mesh at the right time. Zion is healthy. They just got a big win yesterday over UNC.
That's good for them.
And I just think that, man, I think that Barrett, Cam, and Zion's going to be consistent, that if Cam can step it up, that they're going to be a tough out, man.
Man.
I like Kentucky, but I will
Kentucky
pick,
not going to win it.
I will pick Duke. Man. I think Zion is – now you're telling Zion this is going to be the end of your college career if you lose.
He don't care about a college career.
He's going to go. Man, he cares.
No, he doesn't.
Last 2 games, 29 points.
He cares enough, but he don't care enough to win the NCAA championship.
Nah, he want to win because this is one thing that he can do that Kobe has never done. LeBron has never done.
Kobe didn't even go.
But hey, they didn't do it, so
LeBron
he can put that on his resume.
Because that wasn't important to them.
Hey.
If it wasn't for the one and done rule, he wouldn't have gone to college. Let's be honest.
I think he would have went to college.
Really?
Yeah, because
based on what?
At the end of the year, it was R.J. Barrett is clearly number 1, but Zion needed to.
Number 1 pick ain't even unanimous right now.
Did you see the guys he was playing against in high school?
Yeah, they were all scrubs.
Yeah.
They were also like my height.
So he needed to go to Duke and do it against top-notch guys to be like, oh, okay, yeah, so he should be number 1.
Yeah, all right. My pick, and this for me.
Don't pick no Michigan school.
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
However, I can't see Michigan making it to the Final Four again. They can't make it, and I got a theory on that. But the team I think that's going to win it, and this may be the only year to do it, Gonzaga.
Gonzaga, huh?
Also, granted, I am biased because I just watched them play in Vegas, which I mentioned earlier in the show beginning. But here's my thing with Gonzaga, Tennessee, to your credit, Michigan,
nice.
And my thing with the NCAA tournament now, in the one and done era, with the exclusion of Kentucky and the one Duke team, everybody else that's won as of late have all had upperclassmen.
Yeah, Villanova,
Louisville,
yeah,
Michigan when they went twice had upperclassmen, or at bare minimum sophomores who knew what they were playing for, and that wasn't always to go pro.
Yeah.
So if you have a team of kids that care about it more than the one and dones who are caring more about preserving their bodies for the draft and getting to the draft and making their stock go higher, that's already an advantage. Because one side wants it more than the other. 2, an 18-year-old versus a team full of 21, 22-year-olds, we all know who's going to win that battle.
Yeah, advantage. But I like the Gonzaga pick, but the reason why I picked Duke over
they also got 3 first-round picks on that team, too.
No, yeah. I picked Duke over them because Gonzaga beat Duke earlier in the year. And so I think if they were to face, I think Duke could be like, hey, we owe them. So that'll give them even more motivation. And, hey, you can never go wrong picking Coach K, man.
If Coach K didn't have a bunch of freshmen, I would pick him every year.
Oh yeah, I agree too. When he had Battier and those guys, they were always
And the
nice.
one, I mean, the last team that won it had Jaleel Okafor on it,
Yeah.
and that was, I think, them and the Kentucky team were flukes in the one and done era, because those were heavily freshman teams.
But those are hey, great players always win.
Great players always win, and a last second shot also can ruin the tournament.
True.
A last second shot from 3-point line or half court can ruin the tournament.
Hey, especially
Ask North Carolina how they felt.
especially for college. I
Yes.
want to know how do you feel? Would you prefer to have a great player or a great coach?
You need a great coach,
Great coach.
because in college, coaches are the system. It's
Yeah.
not players. In the NBA, it's the players.
Yeah.
'Cause They can make the choice any year.
No,
If
yeah,
they
no,
want to get
I
traded,
agree.
if they want to, sign somewhere, bring their friends with them. College, yeah, you have that moment, but also you only bring so many new players onto your team. In the NBA, you can overhaul a roster every year if you really
No,
want
yeah,
to.
true.
So because the coach usually is the most consistent figure, you need a great coach. And obviously, it's only been a handful of coaches to win an NCAA championship. Ja Wooden being the leader, and all of that.
But I just think that you also need the great players because for like Coach K with his wins, you had Leitner, Grant Hill were top 5 selections.
Mind you, they won 2 of them.
Yeah,
And went how many times in a row?
yeah.
What, 3?
No, they made it to the Final Four, lost one year.
Okay.
Yeah. But he usually wins when he has top 3 guys like Dunleavy. Who else did he have? Okafor went top 3. He won, and now you have Zion, RJ, and Cam. So I think this might be the year, man.
If RJ wants to become the number 1 pick so desperately that he starts shooting them out the
Nah,
game,
won't happen. Won't happen.
he
He
might.
he understands that, man. We came here to win, so let's just win, so we can get on it. He can't. It's nothing he can do that will make him the first pick overall.
And he also doesn't play that well when Zion's not playing. That's also another thing.
He had a big game or two, but
Mm.
he's better with Zion
He's
because
better with him.
because Zion can do everything around the basket. All he has to do is shoot, and play make.
Yeah. All right. Last thing before we get out of here. If we can make this one real quick. Shout out to my homegirl, Allie. Who you think sold their soul to the devil to get Odell to the Browns? I don't think anybody sold their soul.
Baker Mayfield, maybe.
Maybe somebody. Maybe I don't know. Maybe LeBron did. Just
Yeah,
so
that's what I was
just so
thinking.
that way he could, make sure
Go-
Cleveland stayed all right.
Yeah, say all right. Say I'm going to L.A. and I got Odell coming for y'all.
I need Cleveland to be taken care of while I'm gone. So
Yeah.
Here,
Hey.
y'all get the Browns.
Hey,
Here.
tell her that's a great question. That's hilarious.
All right, y'all. So wrap it up. Everything here once again. I got special guest here. He came in late.
Yeah, sorry about that, man.
Mike Hill, the PG, off Courtside Radio, Thursdays, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 Eastern, on the Good News Radio app. I am, once again, Life of Mark, Mark B. Sports Talk with Mark. Peace, love, many blessings. Stay safe out here, St. Patty's Day weekend. And we are out of here.